Chapter 5: Pirates, Germans, and a stolen teddy bear collection. Chapter 5.1: Brahma's interest in selective breeding. Before Brahma met his end due to his severe peanut allergy, assisted by a multitude of grievous wounds caused by Rangda's Xeno warriors, he had a passion for selective breeding. Particularly, he had one pet project that seemed very good in theory but ended up being a complete fuck-up in real life. Brahma wanted Keila Eisenstein and Bjorn Muller to breed, as that, in theory, could lead to the birth of the perfect Zetan/human hybrid, as Keila had a lot of residual Zetan DNA, giving her special abilities. And Bjorn had some residual Zetan DNA for intelligence, which might seem strange because he was a drunken idiot. As neither Keila nor Bjorn was Brahma's pets, he couldn't just lock them up in a cage and hope for the magic or biology to happen. So instead he used his supernatural Zetan ability of implanting visions into humans to convince them to meet each other and fall in love. This plan had a major flaw though, as Brahma failed to account for the fact that Bjorn Muller was an alcoholic, degenerate idiot, and Bjorn's idea of being together with Keila forever when they finally met was to lock her up in a small cage and use her as a sex slave. The learning point of this example is that it is difficult to breed lesser species, especially ones that are so unpredictable as humans are. For 4 pages of pseudoscience explaining Keila's abilities, please read chapter 5.1 of the Divine Sedition. 5.2: Keila's visions renders Marcus Bauer completely unnecessary to the plot. Keila was ferociously punching a boxing bag in the gym. She was angry with her chief scientist, Marcus Bauer, former chief scientist for Bjorn Muller, whom she had put in a lot of effort rescuing. The reason for Keila's anger was that Marcus Bauer had refused to reverse engineer the alien mind control technology that she used to spy on a bully people that didn't think or act like she wanted. Being the good character in the story, she had not used it for homicidal purposes though, but that objection was not enough for Marcus, who apparently thought that the leader should not have unobstructed access to her followers' minds, as well as the ability to kill them from afar using the power of thought. What a bummer. Marcus had also objected to Keila's motivation why she needed to produce millions of mind control technology microchips, as he claimed there was better ways to communicate securely within the group than giving the leader unobstructed power. What a downer. Keila wanted to fire him, but she couldn't because then he would run back to his Terran Council masters, telling them about her. And she couldn't kill because he was right, and she didn't see herself as the villain of the story. In all her anger, Keila got distracted and the boxing sack flew back at her, knocking her over and causing her to hit her head on a strategically placed gym bench. Seeing the stars, she also saw another old mate, Rangda, drinking blue Zetan blood from a Zetan skull. Rangda said, "Hi Keila, "What's up?" Keila said, "Oh, I hit my head again. What are you doing?" Rangda said. "Oh, I'm just drinking the blood from a stupid Zetan we found napping in the wilderness." Keila said, "Okay, cool. Was it anyone important for the story?" Rangda said, "No, not this time. Not every Zetan is as important for the plot as Brahma. Can I help you with anything?" Keila said, "Yes, actually you can. I need the Zetan mind control technology reversed engineered for mass production with human technology, so I can become the benign god queen for the Martian population." Rangda said, "Great. I thought you'd never ask. Just open your mind and I'll transmit the plans to you telepathically." Keila said, "Cool. How do I open my mind?" Rangda said, "Just bang your head against the wall a few times. That will speed up the connection." Keila said, "Oh, how could that possibly work?" Rangda said, "It just does." Keila said, "Okay, have it your way then." A few minutes later, Keila had a terrible headache from the repetitive self-inflicted violence to her head. On the bright side, Rangda's instructions worked, and she now had the blueprint to the reverse-engineered divine technology in her mind. 5.3. Keila needlessly invokes Rangda to fight the infamous pirate Morgan Henry. A few days later, Keila was on a regular passenger ship that would take her from the mining colonies in the asteroid belt to the Olympus Republic on Mars. To avoid attention, she was traveling public transport, as most vehicles that could travel so far was registered and would arouse suspicion. To travel even more incognito, she had used the Zetan external DNA modifier to change her appearance and smell to that of another woman. She had even made up another first name, Christina. Unfortunately, Keila should probably have worked a bit more on her backstory, because when the immigration officer asked for her last name and date of birth, she couldn't come up with anything except her real family name and date of birth. Thus, she was Keila Eisenstein, born on Eden on the 22nd of March, 2850. And it wasn't her fault that she shared her last name and date of birth with an infamous terrorist. Oh no, that was purely coincidental. Fortunately, the immigration officer didn't bother to argue with her, as he had a new match on Swoonder, and pathetically trying to get laid was more important to him than doing his job. One who did notice Keila's fake identity was Shi Cheng. Being a prominent scientist and aware of her survival, he had a bot performing an ongoing search for her on SpaceNet. Realizing that Keila Eisenstein from Eden, born on the same date as Keila, must be Keila Eisenstein, he decided to intervene and have her captured. Unfortunately, due to budget cuts, Shi Chen didn't have access to his own black operations team. So instead, he had to rely on unreliable and incompetent third parties to reach his shifty objectives. He had to rely on the pirate Morgan Henry. There was only one slight problem with hiring Morgan Henry to do jobs. Henry Morgan, or Morgan Henry, preferred dramatic effect and theatrical appearance over getting the job done. For dramatic effect, Morgan Henry kept wearing pirate clothes, a saber and a musket instead of proper equipment. Although he had swapped his peg leg for a real stem cell grown leg after his conversation with Marcus Bauer half a year earlier. Keila was catching up on the Wealthy Wives of Warner, her favorite TV show, in her cabin, when she heard Morgan Henry speaking on the public announcement system. "Arr, this is the infamous pirate Morgan Henry. I demand a parley with Keila Eisenstein, or I'll scuttle the ship. Burp." Keila was petrified by fear. How could Morgan Henry know that she was on the ship? And what would she do about it? She had dealt with the Army, Special Forces, Bjorn Muller, Alicia White, and various gods in the past, but she had never dealt with a real-life infamous pirate. With her mind blank on how to proceed, she slammed her head into the wall to contact Rangda. Unfortunately, she slammed it too hard, so she almost knocked herself unconscious in the process. Rangda, being busy playing board games with her Xenus, was not happy at all to be contacted. "What is it now, Keila?" she said. Keila said, "The infamous pirate Morgan Henry is here to kill me. I'm so afraid." Rangda said, "How can you possibly be afraid of a bunch of costume play nerds with peg legs, muskets and swords when you have modern battle armour, automatic weapons and magical alien technology that stops bullets mid-air? Just kill them." Keila said, "You're right, evil space demon, but there is a small problem. I slammed my head too hard when trying to summon you, so now I have a bad concussion and can hardly stand up." Rangda said, "The shit that I have to put up with? Okay, I'll help you. Let me possess your body and give you superhuman strength." When possessed by Rangda, Keila felt how her power grew exponentially. Killing a group of armed pirates no longer seemed like a challenge. So what was the fun in that? Against better judgment, she threw away her weapons and body armor. It was now time to kill dozens of bloodthirsty pirates with her bare fists. Up from the divine dimension, Rangda could see what was happening down below. What was her idiotic human host doing? Rangda had used some of her psionic powers to make sure that an armed and sane Keila could fight off the pirates. But keeping this lunatic alive would surely drain her power, and she would be back on scratch. Then again, if she didn't keep Keila alive, how would she find someone so stupid enough to open the portals to Earth and unleash her Xenu invasion? Left with no choice, she transferred her abilities, time slow, telekinesis, and poisonous lips, to Keila. Filled with supernatural powers, Keila went out in the corridor to fight the pirates. One of them screamed at her. He said, "Keila Eisenstein, have you come to surrender?" Keila said, "Nah, I have come to kill you all." Pirate said, "Kill the crazy bitch, lads. Fire!" The pirates raised their muskets and fired at her. This didn't take any supernatural powers to dodge. As 3 of the muskets didn't fire, one misfired and injured the shooter, and the last two that did fire missed by a mile, as Morgan Henry and his team had not mastered the ancient trade of musket making. Keila ran up to the closest pirate and punched him with such immense force that he went flying for 30 meters, crashing through a wall and interrupted a couple's love-making. Hee 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 hee. Keila now got an idea. Would it be cool to use her superhuman speed to speed shoot the other pirates with the fallen pirate's musket? Yes, it would. Keila picked up the musket and shot 2 of the pirates with her superhuman speed. Unfortunately, there was a complication on the 3rd shot. The barrel of the musket overheated and exploded, injuring her hands. When Rangda saw this, she got so frustrated that she slammed and tilted the table with the board game in the Divine Dimension. She then used some more of her demonic powers, healing Keila's hands from afar. With her healed hands, Keila picked up the pirate saber and slashed the other pirates into pieces. After this, Keila used her speed to quickly run onto the pirate spaceship, setting it to self-destruct, before confronting Morgan Henry and his group in the lobby of the passenger ship. Morgan Henry, being such a dickhead, had taken the incredibly handsome captain of the ship hostage and held him at gunpoint. Keila got an idea. If she could save the captain, she could later seduce him to get back at Metatron for having sex with Alicia White. Morgan Henry spoke. He said, Keila Eisenstein, I have taken the captain of this ship hostage. Surrender yourself or we'll kill him. Keila said, Accomplices of Morgan Henry. I am Keila Eisenstein, possessed by the evil space demon Rangda. I have superhuman powers. Leave me with your captain or I'll kill you all. Pirate said, Fuck this. I'm not fighting someone possessed by an evil space demon. I'm out. Sorry, Captain, but you're on your own. All the pirates mumbled in agreement and rushed towards their own ship, leaving poor old Morgan Henry with a fearsome Keila. Morgan Henry said, Stay back or I'll kill this handsome captain. Keila said, Go for it and see if I care. Morgan Henry, thinking that he might as well bring the handsome captain with him to the afterlife, pulled the trigger, but he shouldn't have. When Keila noticed that Morgan pulled the trigger, she used time slow and telekinesis abilities in conjunction, managed to turn the Morgan flintlock pistol towards his own head, killing him in an instant. A few seconds later, the now disengaged pirate ship blew up, killing Morgan Henry's pirate crew. Keila ran up to the handsome captain, who was lying on the floor in shock, and spoke to him. She said, I saved the day, Captain. Now kiss me so the ending credits can roll. Hee hee hee. Handsome captain said, Oh, I don't know. I'm in shock from almost getting killed. Besides, you're bleeding, possessed by an evil demon, and you just killed dozens of men. Keila said, Don't worry about those minute details. I'm a good girl deep inside, and I deserve my handsome captain in the end, don't I? Handsome captain said, I guess you're right. You do deserve some kisses. The handsome captain leaned over to kiss Keila, but he shouldn't have. Still being possessed by Rangda, the poison lips ability was still active. So The captain dropped dead to the ground, with foam from his mouth. So much for romance after butchering dozens of pirates, Keila. Chapter 5.4. Bjorn Muller finds out that Keila is alive and tries to cover up the fact. A few days later, Bjorn Muller was sitting in his office disgruntled. Despite actually doing a proper job for once, proving that House White did not attack House Rashid, no one seemed to believe him. No doubt due to his lifetime of fuck-ups, lies, and heinous crimes. But if no one would believe him anyway, why did his father even bother sending him to investigate the attack on the Al-Jadid Salam's base? Disappointed, Bjorn Muller realized the answer to his question. His father sent him to conduct pointless investigations to make sure that he wasn't involved in important decisions. This was highly unfair. Despite his somewhat tattered track record, he was Joachim's oldest son, and he was born to be prominent and powerful, regardless of his actual work performance. Suddenly, there was a knock on Bjorn's door, and to Bjorn's disappointment, it was his right-hand man, Captain Adolf Snyder. Bjorn sighed at him and spoke. He said, "Oh, Adolf, it's you. I hoped it would be Fritz bringing me coffee." Adolf Snyder said, "Have you told Fritz to bring you coffee?" Bjorn Muller said, "No, but he should know that he needs to bring it as I intend to do some work today." Adolf Snyder said, "How can Fritz possibly know that you are intending to work for once? Most of the time, you're busy with drug-fueled orgies." Bjorn Muller said, "Good point. I should probably call him. Otherwise, I might be waiting forever for my coffee. Such terrible service on this base. Anyways, I assume you didn't come to bring me coffee?" Adolf Snyder said, "No, bringing coffee is Fritz's job. I came to report about another pirate attack." Bjorn Muller said, "Always just bad news. No coffee and a pirate attack. Tell me some good news for once." Adolf Snyder said, "I was just getting at that. The pirate attack failed, and the infamous pirate Morgan Henry and his whole crew are now dead." Bjorn Muller said, "That is good news. I might even forgive Fritz for not bringing my coffee. Who killed them?" Adolf Snyder said, "Well, now we are back into bad news territory. It seems that your old friend, Keila Eisenstein, is back from the dead, possessed by the evil space demon Rangda." Bjorn Muller said, "What are you talking about, Adolf? Do you have any proof for this absurd theory?" Adolf Snyder said, "Yes, I do. Please check this footage of the attack, as well as this blood sample that is clearly from Keila Eisenstein." Bjorn Muller studied the attached documentation and videos for a while. Then he spoke again. "Being a master detective and a superior human specimen, I have come to a conclusion on this case. The woman who butchered all of the pirates must be Keila's twin sister, Christina Eisenstein." Adolf Snyder said, "But Keila doesn't have a sister." Bjorn Muller said, "Well, clearly she does. Look at the passenger manifest. Christina Eisenstein, date of birth 22nd of March 2850. Adolf Snyder said, "But isn't that just a fake alias she used?" Bjorn Muller said, "No, it can't be. Who in their right mind would use an alias with the same last name and date of birth as their real name? It must be Keila's twin sister. Ada's mother said, but she clearly states her name, Keila Eisenstein, before killing Morgan Henry. Bjorn Muller said, oh, that is just a way to confuse us. Clearly, Keila's unknown twin sister, Christina Eisenstein, doesn't want us to chase her. Ada's mother said, so what do you want to do? Bjorn Muller said, tell the authorities in Olympus Republic to arrest her and keep her detained until I personally have interrogated her. Ada Snyder said, what reason should I give them to arrest her? Killing the menace, Morgan Henry, is a good deed that should be rewarded. Bjorn Muller said, yes, but she also killed the captain, Michael Swoon, with her venomous lips. That is the crime she is wanted for. Dismissed Adel. After Adel had left the room, Bjorn Muller was gripped by terrifying fear. His crazy ex, i.e., rape victim, was back from the dead, possessed by an evil space demon that gave her superpowers. With his luck, she would soon come after him to kill him. And even if she wasn't coming after him, his father would be furious if it turned out that he had failed to kill Keila last year and fallen for her ploy. Thus, the only way for Bjorn to save his own skin was if he could kill Christina Eisenstein to silence her permanently. On top of all his problems, his coffee was yet to arrive. Doing the only reasonable thing in the situation, he called his servant, Fritz, and yelled, "Bring meinen Kaffee jetzt, Dummkopf!" before hanging up. 5.5 Keila is imprisoned and meets with Hellas Petrakis. Keila was sitting in a prison cell in the Olympus Republic, the most prominent nation on Mars. She was angry with the Olympians. Despite that she single-handedly had solved their pirate problems, they had refused to grant her an audience with their president, Hellas Petrakis. And instead, they had locked her up in the cell instead. Keila considered slamming her head against the wall to contact Rangda again and be granted superpowers, but she refrained from doing so. Senselessly murdering people was not the best way to make new friends. The door opened and there he was, Hellas Petrakis, Keila's old friend and mentor. Hellas Petrakis said, "Thank you for solving our pirate problem. You wanted to see me." Keila said, "Yes, it's me, Keila." Hellas Petrakis said, "Oh, really? The Keila I knew was a nutcase, but she didn't have superpowers caused by being possessed by an evil space demon. Besides, she was already declared dead over a year ago." Keila said, "But it is me. I closed down all my social media accounts to fake my own death." Hellas Petrakis said, "Is that so? Was that really all it took for Bjorn Muller to proclaim that you're dead?" Keila said, "Yeah, more or less." Hellas Petrakis said, "Damn, that guy is an idiot. Anyways, sadly, I don't believe you. Our DNA scanners say that you're not Keila, but an unidentified Edenite woman." Keila said, "No, I am Keila. Take a blood sample and you'll find out." Hellas did take a blood sample and he was shocked to find out the result. That woman in front of him indeed was Keila Eisenstein. Confused, Hellas spoke to Keila. He said, "How did this happen? How did you survive swapping all your blood with Keila's blood, stranger?" Keila said, No, Hillis, I'm not a stranger. I'm Keila. I used magical alien technology to change my appearance to that of another woman. Hillis Petraki said, okay, that makes roughly as much sense as my explanation. Keila said, okay, but look at this. I can revert back to my true appearance. Keila activated the Zetan external DNA modifier and her appearance reverted to her true self. Amazed, Hela studied her and spoke. Wow, that thing would make a killing in the cosmetic surgery industry. But you are right, you really are Keila. Well, except for that luminescent purple predator eyes. Keila said, the predator eyes are the price I have to pay for being possessed by the space demon Rangda. Anyways, I came here with a bunch of alien technology that will enable us to defeat the Terran Council and liberate the Martians from oppression. Hillis Petraki says, I don't know, Keila. Revolution seems like a lot of hard work. I'd rather just have a nap. Keila said, is your laziness the reason for your Greek or weak economy in the Hillis Republic? Hillis Petraki said, no, our weak economy is the Germans' fault. Death to House Muller and the Terran Council. Keila said, good, that's what I want to hear. Now, please plug this alien mind control chip, this secure communications device, into your ear so we can communicate better. Hillis Petraki says, but why would we need that? We're literally in the same room. Keila said, because I need to go back to Eden now and fetch some stuff while you mass-produce weapons with the technologies I'm about to give you. Hillis Petraki said, cool. I'll plug in your secure communications device in my ear then and wait for you to call me. Ouch, that hurts. What kind of device is this? Keila said, don't worry, it's not an evil alien technology that enables me to see everyone's thoughts and kill people that descend from afar. Hillis Petraki says, I never asked what the device doesn't do, just what it does. Keila said, all right. It's a secure communications device. I'm heading back to Eden now. Make sure to mass produce 20 million copies of this technology and insert them in every citizen's brain so we can talk without the Terran Council knowing. Hillis Petraki said, sure, but there is one problem. You cannot leave the palace, as Keila Eisenstein or spies will tell House Muller about it. Keila said, okay, what about if I change my looks to my alter ego, Christina Eisenstein? Hillis Petraki says, well, Christina Eisenstein has been on the news a lot lately and is wanted for murder. Not a good identity either, Keila said. So what do you suggest? Hillis Petraki said, I suggest you take the identity of Rose Menakis, a law-abiding citizen of the Olympus Republic who died in an unfortunate accident this morning. I can bring you a sample of her DNA. Keila said, cool, let's do that. A few hours later, Keila Eisenstein, or Rose Menakis, was on a passenger spacecraft that would take her back to the asteroid belt where Eden was located. Keila was annoyed. She had always been a pretty girl, and she thought that was how life was meant to be. Enjoying the smiles of the opposite sex and the joy of watching her reflection in a mirror. But with Rose Menakis' face, life had turned sour. No one smiled at her anymore, and it was painful to watch her reflection in the mirror. All in all, being ugly was not fun, and she could not wait to get to Eden and use her real appearance, as the only fault with her real appearance were her purple predator eyes, and at least those were easily remedied with tinted lenses. 5.6. Keila and Melchior lands on Eden just in time for a thrilling confrontation. A few months later, Keila landed with a small ship and a group of Edenite soldiers, which she finally had managed to convince to use futuristic weapons, which, except for the Zetan alien technologies, were surprisingly similar to 21st century weapons, instead of Bronze Age spears and shields. She had received reports from Hellas Petrakis that he had successfully implanted all Olympus Republic citizens with secure communication devices, also known as the alien mind control technology. Keila was curious whether Hellas Petrakis really was dumb enough to fall for her ploy that the microchips just was for secure communication. And she and the reader can keep wondering about that, as Hellas is not a point-of-view character, so his real motivations remain unknown. Keila timed her arrival poorly, so they landed just before a large Muller fleet arrived for an unofficial state visit. State visit was an intentional misrepresentation of what they were doing there, but it didn't sound civilized to call the visit a looting party. So Muller kept insisting that it was indeed a state visit. The background to the state visit was that Muller kept sending inflated invoices for the operation of the magnetic field generations on the Martian North Pole and South Pole that made Mars livable through creating a magnetic field that kept the Martian atmosphere in place, stopping it from being dispersed by the solar wind. There was a slight problem with those inflated invoices, though, that the magnetic field generators were built 500 years ago and should reasonably have been paid off centuries earlier. Then again, Muller was rich and had a large army, so they were always right. To make an analogy to the 21st century, Mullers acted like International Monetary Fund acts today, constantly draining poor countries of money and resources, bringing in the corporate hired guns, USA, when someone failed to fall in line. Realizing that both Bjorn Muller and his father Joachim Muller had landed on Mars and was not far away, Keila slammed her head at the side of her spaceship to connect with Rangda. She connected with Rangda, who was panting and didn't seem very keen to help. "What is it now, Keila?" Keila said. "I'm on Mars, and both Bjorn Muller and Joachim Muller are nearby together with a very large Muller army. I was wondering if you could lend me some superpowers, so I could kill them all and end the war." Rangda said, "Okay. How many is with you and how many of them are there?" Keila said, "I have a dozen followers with me, and they're probably around 10,000. What do you reckon? Would it be doable?" Rangda said, "Perhaps. If I had all the corrupted Zito crystals with me, fully charged, then maybe." Keila said, "Okay, can you get those within the next half an hour or so?" Rangda said, "Considering it took me thousands of years to get one corrupted Zito crystal, and I drained that crystal helping you with killing a few clown pirates when all that you needed to do was to shoot them, I'd say the answer is no. I got to go now. I had to kill and drain a few Zetans to charge the Zito crystals, and now they're hunting me." Keila said, "Oh really? I'm so sorry about that. Are you going to be okay?" Rangda said, Yeah, I'll be fine, considering that the Divine Dimension is an endless white plane and we Xenus run faster than Zetans. They'll give up pursuit eventually. Keila said, Okay, cool. Talk to you later. When Keila opened her eyes, she and her small group of soldiers were surrounded by a large group of angry-sounding, shouting German soldiers. The leader of the group, Adolf Schneider, approached Keila. Adolf Schneider said, Crazy woman, identify yourself. Keila said, I am Rose Menakis, Olympus Republic citizen, and the man next to me is Melchior Dorovich, the leader for an Edenite trade delegation sent here to negotiate with Hellas. Adolf Schneider said, Okay, Rose, your biography does not mention your mental illness. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Keila said, I'm not mentally ill. Adolf Schneider said, You just slammed your head into the side of your spaceship, and then you spoke with yourself, staring out in thin air. Keila stayed silent for a second, wrestling with an inner decision to make. She wasn't insane, and Adolf had insulted her by claiming her to be one. Was the best option A, falsely admitting to insanity to Adolf to get him to leave her alone, or B, tell him the truth that she was the legendary Martian freedom fighter Keila Eisenstein, and she was speaking to the alien space demon Rangda, who had promised to give her superpowers. Realizing that Rangda had refused to give her any powers, Keila chose option A. Keila said, Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I am clearly insane. My psychiatrist must have forgotten to update my biographical information. Adolf Schneider said, I see. Unfortunately, the crime of being armed and insane close to the Terran Council leader, offense, carries a 3,000 Terran credits fine. Keila said, Damn it. Do you take cards? Adolf Schneider said, Do you seriously think I'm accepting card payments when soliciting a bribe? Keila said, But I don't carry around 3,000 Terran credits in 100 credit gold coins. Adolf Schneider said, Well, I'm sure your friends from Eden can help you out. They are a trade delegation after all. Melchior muttered and opened his money bag. How could his idiotic boss come up with these things? Who in their right mind would slam their head against a hard surface and then speak with themselves? He grudgingly handed Adolf Schneider the money. Joachim Muller saw what happened and approached the group. He said, What is this Adolf soliciting bribes from the locals? Who did he take the money from and how much? Melchior said, Oh, it was from me, and he stole 3,000 credits. May I have them back? Joachim Muller said, Unfortunately, I cannot give you the money back, as Adolf has to pay me a 3,000 Terran credits fine for unpermitted bribe solicitation. But Adolf can write you an IOU letter collectible from the House Muller Bank in Harnstadt on Earth. Melchior said, So you witness your subordinate steal from the innocent locals and your response is to steal the loot for yourself and then do nothing to rectify the problem? Joachim Muller said, That sums things up. Adel confiscate the Martian peasants' weapons, they can have them back when we leave. We have no use for their outdated rubbish weapons. Melchior said, outdated rubbish weapons? What if I'm telling you that we have access to advanced alien technology that will demolish your Terran army on the battlefield and expel the Terran Council from Mars? Joachim Muller said, ha 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 ha, you are a funny one. I give you that. Here is a tip from me. Joachim Muller picked up a 100 credit gold coin and threw it at Melchior. A sizable gift, but an insult, considering that Adel had just robbed Melchior of 3,000 credits. Bjorn rushed in to join the conversation. Father, we cannot let these rebels go. What if the crazy woman in the corner there is Keila Eisenstein, possessed by the demon Rangda, the twin sister of the terrorist Keila Eisenstein? Joachim Muller said, well, in that case, you should pay her for doing your job when she killed Morgan Henry. But she clearly isn't. So, let the peasants be now. We have to talk to Helas Petrakis. After this, Keila and her group's weapons and equipments were temporarily confiscated by the House Muller army, while they were talking to or robbing Helas Petrakis. Fortunately, they were given back their equipment when the House Muller army left, as they had assumed that Melchior was joking when he spoke about advanced alien technology and had not studied the confiscated equipment more carefully. Chapter 5.7. Keila coordinate war plans with Helas Petrakis. After the Terrans had left, Keila and her group entered the presidential palace of Olympus Republic. The Mullers had applied German efficiency to the looting, stealing everything of value, even fittings and fixtures. Keila entered Helas Petrakis' office, where he was sitting on the floor sobbing. Keila worried that she would have to listen about how the Mullers had tortured Helas and threatened to kill all of his family. But she spoke to him anyway. She said, "Are you okay, buddy? What happened?" Helas Petrakis said, "The Terrans came. They stole everything from me, including my teddy bear collection." Keila said, "But did they torture you or threaten to kill your family?" Helas Petrakis says, "No, of course not. Olympus Republic is technically a House Muller vassal or ally. It wouldn't make sense to torture and threaten their ally. But they did steal my teddy bear collection. Boo-hoo." Keila said, "I see. Do you know any nearby toy store where I can buy new teddy bears to make you feel better?" Helas Petrakis said, "Don't spread salt in my wounds, Keila. It's bad enough as it is. Besides, my teddy bear collection is priceless." Keila said, "Okay, well, I'm back with my special forces and my magical alien equipment. Let's avenge your loss by fighting the Terrans, defeating them on the battlefield, and expelling them from Mars. We will win freedom for our people and steal back your teddy bears." After that, it was decided Helas Petrakis, against better judgment, pledged the support of his nation, risking the lives of his citizens, to avenge and, if possible, steal back his stolen teddy bear collection.